Yeah, I think he wants to start on him though. So you're about to be on in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Starting here.
All right.
Thanks, Phil. See you later. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Drag Show. Now, my guest tonight is Lee, Housekeeper. My name is Stu Smith, and I was going to call it Face to Face with Stu Smith. Lee said, "What are your other names of the show?" And I said, Face to Face with Stu Smith, which I'd like to use with you tonight, The Drag Show, or Frisco Today. You probably don't like the word Frisco. Anyway, the late Herb Caen hated that.
Yeah, he did.
But at any rate, I have something to ask you. There's a breaking story that you're kind of on, like a fly on something you know. It's about a little wonderful saloon down by Union Square. And can you give me a little info on this story?
The Gold Dust.
The Gold Dust Lounge.
Yeah. Well, Gold Dust. My favorite Herb Caen line was, if I can remember it properly, was, "You know it's going to be a bad day when you get up and put your shoes on and they're still warm."
Only a man who pounds a few can understand that.
And there was a number of days that were that way for him, probably because of the Gold Dust. That would be the last call on many of occasion, where he would go and sit in the back at one of the stools, play liar's dice, and occasionally set in on the drums.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was a drummer. And so these two Greek gentlemen came over from Greece with $20 in their pockets, the Bovis brothers, and they wound up with the Gold Dust, which had been around in various incarnations since 1922.
Wow.
Maybe even earlier. We're still looking into the history. I think Bing Crosby had been involved at one time, and in the 60s. And they took this place and were, the drinks were just a buck or something. They're still very inexpensive there. And they really made it into something. It's quite a place. It's the tufted leather booths.
Oh, I know it well.
Red velvet and just wonderfully comfortable. And bands,
all
musicians,
that live music.
Yes, play there. Live musicians. Well, they got notice that a large teen department store that's part of a chain, some 300-400 around the country, wants that space, Weinstein Gallery, upstairs, 30,000 square feet, perhaps, very large, maybe more. And this little 1,000 square foot place is where they want to put the escalator.
Holy mackerel. What a cause. I mean, it just seems unfair and unreasonable to me. I think, San Francisco's been kind of anti-big box for a long time, but we've loosened a little bit. We're allowing quality merchandisers, people with money, people who will work things out with the city. Do you think that I've heard it's the Limited, which of course includes Macy's and a lot of other...
Oh, Victoria's Secrets too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's maybe better than Kmart on Maiden Lane, but it's, they could get some more space out in front if they went out 10 feet. They'd just have to get rid of those ugly cable cars.
Oh,
get more
geez,
space.
Why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Right.
Let's stop using horses. The mounted patrol has to go, right?
I think somehow, people go and they rush in, they've got these great big plans, and they don't take into account certain things, but then it's already in motion. So to have somebody actually sit down and talk to an architect and say, is there something you can do? We're going to try and get to that point where they actually go and revisit it and look at it. Do you remember when the city had Alan Temko? You couldn't hammer a nail in without it. If Alan didn't think you were...
Actually, didn't he write for the Chronicle?
Yes, he was the architectural thing. You had to go to Alan if you were going to build anything.
Yeah.
One line in Herb Caen's column in the day would have been the end of it.
Or the beginning.
Yes.
Well, since we're talking about a real great old saloon, you know a little bit about saloons. I know that you work with Lefty O'Doul's. Mm-hmm. I know you work with a great restaurant, John's Grill. Mm-hmm. I know that you worked with my ex-partner, Jim Brandt, with the Gold
Coast.
Gold Coast.
Confused the two places.
On California Street.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other notable food beverage operations?
No, those are my longtime clients in that area. I eat.
You pick wisely.
Well, it's part of the deal. I get to eat at John's, and I get to eat at Lefty's, and I represent the oldest taxi cab company in town, Luxor. So I get to ride
That's
in
the
a
best
taxi
cab company in
best.
town too.
That's right.
Yeah, John Lazar. What is he? Second or third generation running the company? Third generation.
Yeah. Well, no,
and his son
fourth.
Son, fourth generation, Jonathan. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
amazing family,
This
and they
pays
run a
for-
great business.
This pays for me to be able to play with these other stories. I have a client that's just remarkable named Joe Kachet, who's one of the most incredible attorneys. He called me up a few years ago and said, I need to talk to you because tomorrow I'm flying to, I think it's Buckner, West Virginia. I'm interviewing Madoff, who they just put into prison.
Wow.
So he represented many of Madoff's victims, and his firm represents the San Bruno victims of the PG&E blast. He personally stopped the Schwarzenegger sale of the state buildings and the courthouses, and I was there to help with the press. So it's just great fun.
Yeah. Well, he's quite an attorney.
He's wonderful.
He's very, very good.
Yeah.
And, I love to see an attorney
his
who
partner Frank Petrie and Leo McCarthy's son Neil. They're just wonderful people, and always wearing the white hat.
I love it. I mean, this city is so rich, and you're one of the champions of the city because you keep it going.
I love it.
The history, the traditions, the fun. This is one of the. I get to travel a lot. I have never in all my life been in a city that's more fun than San Francisco, and for 60 years I've been going to a lot of great places, and there's better selection of saloons in this city than anywhere I've ever been.
Wherever you go, when you come back,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Herb Cain used to do it. He would go all in the
Yeah.
most luxurious places in the
Sure,
world.
sure.
He was back here, and he was happy.
Yeah.
Happy to come home. At any rate, so what else is going on?
Well, let's see. The most extraordinary thing in my life has been 2 months ago. I was blessed with my first grandson,
Congratulations.
Connor Elliott.
Connor Elliott.
They got into their first home down in Chatsworth. And so I'm going to be going down and visiting, and I think he's probably playing piano by now.
A proud grandpa. Well, your son married a gal who served in the military.
3 tours. She flew in spy planes.
Wow.
And she's got red hair, and she looks like Maureen O'Hara. And I told her that I could always get another son, but I could never get another Aaron. She's wonderful.
Did she know who Maureen O'Hara was?
At first they didn't, and then now they are big fans. Because I had to point it out. But her email handle when she was in the Navy was redheaded Navy gal.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Herb Cain would have loved that
You
too.
would have, yeah. She's wonderful.
Speaking of Herb, you did a lot of things with Herb Cain over the years.
Herb did so much for me. I would call, and the first item I ever got in Herb Cain's column, I'd go into North Beach bars. Oh boy, here, have a drink. Well, this is great, and then of course you'd want to do another one, and so you'd keep your eyes peeled and look around for sightums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there would be the occasion where I'd call him with something, and he'd say, "Lee, buy an ad." Oh, I was devastated. He says, "What do you think I am? Buy an ad."
Oh my God, that's great. I never heard him of him saying something like that, but that kind of sounds like.
Oh
him.
yeah. Okay,
See, yeah. I mean, God, you go back there, and I can't help but think about when Hoppy and Delaplane and Cain and Jesus, who else? There was Temco. There was a great arts writer too on the paper, critic. But I mean, it was just loaded.
Mm-hmm.
It was a real newspaper. It should have been in New York.
Yeah.
Because this little 700,000 person city
Right.
has everything almost that New York does, just on a little tinier scale.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, I digress. So you got a grandkid.
I have a grandkid.
Okay.
And he's wonderful. And then, I mean, I get all these stories now, and I do the that come a lot from the law firm today. They had settled a case for $115 million in Fresno from a Ponzi scheme, and the lawyer that did that case went in at 1 o'clock on his way back from LA and stopped at the airport, and I was able to get some television for him in Fresno. And it's just, the hits keep on coming. The phone will ring from that firm, and there'll be one terrific story after another. John's Grill is endless with the stories. You go to John's, and imagine it was the same in the 20s when Dashiell Hammett went there. There's the judges, there's the criminals, there's the private detectives, there's the reporters,
and
the
celebrities and the politicians,
all of everything, and there's that mix going on there that's always fun. There's always people at one booth or another, something's going on,
and hundreds of them are in photos on the walls of that great place.
What's so much fun is putting up now the pictures, because it's really a chess game. You can't take down a picture at John's Grill without upsetting somebody. Even if the person has passed, their relatives sit under that picture. So when we have a new chief of police or a new mayor, as we have now, to go and put that picture up means displacing somebody. And so that'll be next. We've got Mark Leno, who I've been wanting to put up for years. We'll be putting his picture up the first week in February, and then hopefully this year getting around to our new wonderful mayor.
Yeah,
and getting him up on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the fire chief up. She was up. That was great fun.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that place. And it's been around a long time, and it continues to serve great food, great vibrations, good drinks.
And coming up, here's the 106th anniversary of the 1906 earthquake that I do every year. That'll be April 18th.
Boy.
And we still have 4 survivors who are living. Maybe one of them might still attend.
And you do that, or you Donna Huggins?
Donna works with us. It's nobody's in charge.
Right.
But nobody's
she's
in
kind
charge
of one of the,
because we've never had a permit.
Oh.
So
a
couple of years ago, I had these laminates made up, calling everybody the event producer, just in case. If anything goes wrong, they say, see somebody with a laminate, and there was hundreds of people with laminates.
How long have you been doing that?
About 25 I remember I knew personally 50 of the survivors.
Oh my God.
Yeah. At least.
God. You ever wonder, I wonder, do you know or have any idea how many people you do know?
Is this one of those...
No, just off the top of my head.
Kevin Bacon?
No, not about celebrities, just people.
Well, I think now with Facebook, that was interesting. I went on and just said, well, I'm not going to have any friends. I'll be the one person without any friends. And I don't know how it happened, but within a few days or minutes, my son said, how could my father be on Facebook? And I get a message. So, okay, I open up the floodgates. And I think I have a few hundred friends, of which I know half of them, actually.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes you'll sit and you'll say, I wonder, so Gary Redberg from high school. Wow, there he is. So,
yeah.
Yes, I think I could, because of Facebook, I could answer that. It's several hundred people that are friends that I know, and it's 500-600 people. And
Yeah. I'm going to say a lot more than that.
Well, who knows?
The people you meet. In every aspect of your life, you meet lots of people. And they're drawn to you. And they keep coming back, as you said.
Well, I had a good time in New York a few months ago. When I lived and worked there in the 60s, I still have some friends back there, and I ran into Mark Sebastian and his brother, and we went around in the village because that's where they grew up, and I went and visited my old friend Clive Davis.
Yeah.
And so, yes, over the years,
just another old friend.
Keep these people. You don't see them that often, but when you do, it's great. It's wonderful to go and see what we can all remember of the old stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do a lot of that. You've got a gang of pals.
Boys' Night Out.
Boys' Night Out. Yeah. And some of the pictures, I think we'll have one of those pictures in this stuff. In fact, maybe it's a good time to take a break and take a look at some of these pictures, and you can tell us what they are.
Okay.
As they pop up.
Well, that's Barry the Fish Melton from Country Joe and the Fish. He and I met at Woodstock,
Wow.
when he performed there, and he's been an old and dear and wonderful friend. He's retired head of the public defenders in Yolo County. He and I worked on the Manny Babbitt death penalty case together, which was an extraordinary case when he was with the state public defenders. But he's also, he lasted in retirement all of 6 months, so he's now going back to be public defender in Lake County.
Oh my God.
He said he didn't like hanging his shingle out and defending all the drunk students from Davis. And, he said he had to go back. He needed axe murderers.
That's great.
And
Very
that's
nice.
Clive and I at
Clive Davis. Wow.
just a month or two ago. He's now in the top floor of this building, the Sony building, which is the whole top floor. And you get up there and there is a guard and a secretary. That's it. And they point out this marble staircase that they used in Wall Street. And I'm going, well, this is Valhalla. He said Clive it was the most incredible office I'd ever seen.
Now, you're go ahead.
That's when I first met Laura Nero. That's what she looked like. She and I were both the same age then. She's passed away, but she was a remarkable lady and touched me so deeply. We were both kids together in New York. I worked with David Geffen, and he managed her, and then I wound up managing her at various times. And she wrote many a great song. And when I die and when I'm gone, there'll be one child born to carry on.
Yeah.
That's Steve Cropper, also a wonderful songwriter. He wrote Dock of the Bay, Midnight Hour, Knock on Wood, Can't Turn You Loose, produced Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett. He was the Blues Brothers, and he and I worked together for many years, and I worked with him when he got the Blues Brothers together, and when he left Memphis and went to Los Angeles, we had a recording studio together. That's Booth 21
At
John's Grill. He actually termed it, he says, Lee, we are now Boothers, at the height of the birther thing. And that's Connor.
That's your grandchild.
And that's within an hour of his birth, and I did that swaddling.
Oh, that's beautiful. You look so happy.
That's me at the inaugural. Very happy there.
Is that at Lee's inaugural?
Oh no, that's
Oh, that's the Capitol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's Laura again.
But she was beautiful.
Yeah, that's me and Pete McCluskey, the only Republican that I still speak with. He ran against Nixon, is an anti-war Republican candidate, and he is the most remarkable Irish guy. He lives up between Davis and Clear Lake, and he works with the Cachette firm a little bit, and we've done some wonderful things together. We went to the Cowboy Poetry thing together, took the train up to Elko, Nevada last year.
Now, he served in Congress, didn't he?
That's me on my way to Woodstock. I
Oh
was
my
armed
God.
and dangerous.
Armed and dangerous. You were a kid.
And that's me, if you could tell. That's with my that's with my press hat.
Love it.
Now this is my son, and this is me, and that's a drawing of me at my son's age that my mother did.
That's
in
great.
the center.
Regeneration.
And that is me doing what I do best, shoveling horse bleed.
You can say it on this station.
I can?
Yes. Horse shit.
Shoveling horse manure.
You're so
That was
cute.
a birthday, 150th birthday, something like that. Some remarkable thing for the Fior, the Italian.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And one of the survivors of the earthquake, his father opened the Fior, and he grew up in the Fior in North Beach, and we brought him in with a horse and carriage, and I had to clean up.
I just had lunch there the other day.
Yeah.
Another great old place. Is that?
That's it. Well, there you go.
Well, that's a wonderful little
trip
tour
down memory lane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of talent, now you have a friend that you have or you might be introducing to Clive Davis.
Yes, Catherine Friel Hill. She goes by Catherine Hill. Is a songwriter, singer, remarkable from Canada, and I just think the world of her music. And I played a song of hers, and she came with me to meet Clive Davis, and she's got about 6 more songs that she's finished, and three that she's looking to finish. And we've been invited to go down and stay with Steve and Angel Cropper and my old friends John Prine and his manager Al Bonetta. So we'll go on down there. I emailed Steve and asked him, I said, can Cat still go and ring the doorbells down on Music Row and they'll listen to her? He said, no. But I know who's making money, and if her songs are any good, we'll have somebody listen to them. So we're all excited about doing
wonderful.
that in May.
That's the hardest thing in the world. Once you're in, though,
Yeah.
you're all right.
Yeah.
Hard business. So let's go back to before Woodstock.
Whoa, okay.
You were in New York.
Mm-hmm.
You were somehow involved with entertainment right from the beginning, weren't you?
Well, I was in Los Angeles in 1967 and 67, and I met Jim Morrison, and that led me to work with some bands, a band on Elektra called Clear Light, which was supposed to be the next Doors. It was a very small community then. I had a big old house that was falling apart, but we could rent it cheap, and the bands played there. 5215 Franklin, and they all rehearsed there because there was no other place. 10 bands. And everybody had a record deal. Everybody had a billboard on Sunset Strip. And I was hired to be, the bands were making $500 a night. And then all of a sudden, the airplane gets a job for $10,000, and then everybody's making, and this is like overnight.
Yeah.
The agency didn't know what to do. In New York, they had Victor Borga, Harry Belafonte, and Jim Morrison, and Janis Joplin. No. So they brought me back east, and I was 20.
Wow.
And I became an agent for the Doors and the Jefferson Airplane and Janis Joplin, Chambers Brothers.
Wow.
And so that's how I.
Well, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to ask you to come back again.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about,
Yeah.
and I love talking about music and restaurants in San Francisco and the action that we both had a chance to be part of.
When do I do the drag race story? Is there race cars?
Next time.
This is race cars, right?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lee. We'll see you next time. I think that was a wrap. I hope. Excuse me. Would you finalize it, or does he do that?
Yeah, he hasn't shown me how to do that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he'll be in momentarily.
Oh, this one on the air. Off air. Yeah.
How'd it go?
Good.
Good.
Good? Alright.
I did.
Couldn't
she
have done
doesn't
it
know
without
how
you,
to
Phil.
finalize.
So yeah, if you want to just stop the DVD, press the stop button.